The views and opinions
and otherwise wisecrack remarks
in this podcast
are solely those
of our highly caffeinated hosts.
They do not represent the opinions
of Fairchild Air Force Base leadership,
the 92nd Public Affairs Office,
or the United States Air Force.
Any reference to commercial products, companies, or services does not imply federal endorsement.
You've been warned.
Just hang on 1 second, I gotta check the boom.
Come on!
1-7 contact, boom interphone.
Thank you, that was beautiful.
Hey there, Team Fairchild. This is Staff Sgt. Benjamin Stratton and
Captain David Liapis, and are you ready to fuel your connection with
The Boom?
Alright, so obviously we're not the same hosts as you have been used to, so we'll start with just some quick introduction. Sergeant Stratton, why don't you tell the folks about yourself?
Alright, guys and gals. This is Staff Sgt. Benjamin Stratton, and I am a traditional journalist turned photographer and now apparently broadcaster, because guess what? The original hosts have up and left y'all.
Yeah, well, you know, the Air Force does that to us from time to time. I'm Captain David Liapis, and I'm laughing at something. I don't know what at this point. But anyway, I'm the Chief of Public Affairs here, and I wasn't always an officer. I was enlisted at one point. I did aircraft maintenance for a number of years.
Until he went to the dark side.
The dark side. So I guess what you could say is I am a prior non-nonner.
I'm a nonner.
Sergeant Stratton's a nonner, and proud of it. For those of you who don't know what a nonner is pretty much somebody who spends most of their Air Force career sitting at a desk in a climate-controlled room or in otherwise comfortable conditions, whereas folks like aircraft maintenance, security forces, some POL,
CE.
There's a number of folks that we would categorize as not nonners. So no offense to the nonners, because we need everybody that does everything in this Air Force. We all
Couldn't do it
contribute.
without finance.
That's right. We need money. Yep, we need the money.
That was a shout out to our prime viewer or listener, Tech Sergeant Medina.
Oh yeah, hey Sergeant Medina, thanks for listening. So anyway, let's talk about, well, Sergeant Ayres and Sergeant Bender. We missed them. You might have heard them at the beginning of the podcast doing our little "we're not going to get in trouble for what we say" statement. But they have since PCS'd.
Losers. Well,
Sergeant Bender's on his way out. He hasn't quite left yet. I'll see if I let him leave.
Cool.
But speaking of PCSing, it's almost full-blown PCS season. There's onesies and twosies going now, but summertime's coming, and you know what that means, that the mass of moves are going to happen. Move. And so as you do this move, you got to take your earthly possessions either with you or pack them up and put them at the mercy of the shipping company and hope that everything gets to its location in one piece or at all. There was a story that recently came out on militarytimes.com talking about a lieutenant colonel and his wife and kids, and they came from Hurlburt Field up to Wyoming, F.E. Warren Air Force Base last summer, and they had two safes that they had stuck a whole bunch of valuables in, like some gold and some comic books. I mean, comic books, I guess, can be really valuable, and savings bonds and other things that, according to them, are worth almost $35,000, and those two safes didn't make it, in spite of all the searching that they've done and police reports they've filed and claims they've made. Nothing's come of it, and so
it was the government. It's a conspiracy.
No, it's not the government conspiracy. It's sometimes just bad luck. Some things just happen, and so the military and the moving companies are advising service members to hand carry their valuable items with them rather than send them with their household goods.
So you saying when you PCS overseas, you're supposed to hand carry that 500-pound safe?
Well, maybe not the whole thing, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take out Social Security cards, birth certificates, kind of things like that.
Comic books, apparently.
Comic books, yes. We can read them on the plane on the way over. But here's the issue. Like, I just went to Turkey a couple of years ago, and before I left, like, what do I do with my stuff? Do I just put it on the shipment and hope that it makes it over there? Because I'm about to drive across the country, I'm about to fly across the ocean and go to a foreign land, and am I going to carry all of my valuable possessions with me? Am I going to like handcuff it to my wrist, or am I going to stick it in my backpack? There's risks no matter how you look at this of your stuff not making it, whether it gets stolen on the plane or in the car or the hotel room or whatever. I took the risk and I sent most of my stuff with the household goods shipment, which turned out to be a very bad idea. If you're going to ship a vehicle to an overseas location, make sure you have your title with you when you go to the port to turn your vehicle in because they need that. And I didn't find that out. I didn't realize that until I was in Louisville, Kentucky on the way to Baltimore. So I had about 2 days to get things straightened out and get a duplicate title sent via fast mail to me so that I could get my stuff shipped out on time. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is it's kind of a personal decision. I don't know, Sergeant Stratton, what do you think about that? What are you going to do? You going to ship it or are you going to hand carry it?
You know, I've had mixed experiences with it. For the most part, they've always taken care of my stuff. But I know that when I PCS'd to and from Kunsan Air Base, Korea, Wolfpack, woo! Anyway, so my bike, the chain was all messed up. I had to replace the pedals.
Not the pedals.
I know, the pedals. Not the pedals. So I had to spend like $150 to get my bike back up and serviceable when I got there and when I came home.
Well, and
they wouldn't do anything.
When you go to a place like Korea or Turkey, like your bike is your sole means of transportation, at least for the first part of it, usually.
Oh yeah, you don't get a vehicle when I was over there. I was an E4. You don't get a vehicle. You don't get a vehicle unless you're a master sergeant or an officer.
Yeah.
So not that you need it at Kunsan unless you're lazy.
Well, so let's say you PCS and assume that all your stuff gets to your location. And even if it doesn't, you're going to unpack and all that. I'm the kind of person that when we get to a new place, I can't rest until everything is put away in its place. I'm that guy. Like,
OCD.
Yes, a little bit. You can see my office, I'm a little bit OCD.
It's okay, me too.
So the good thing about being in the summer, PCSing in the summertime, is the days are longer, so you get more time to unpack and all that kind of stuff.
You mean the days are longer?
Yes.
Like we get more than 24 hours?
The Earth is on its axis. It's slightly tilted, and so in certain seasons, days are longer than... But also the days get longer because of a thing called daylight savings time. Daylight savings time.
Speaking of longer days, I'm sure you're all well aware we just turned our clocks forward on Monday. Forward an hour. Not
Sunday.
What?
It was Sunday.
What? Oh my goodness.
If you didn't know, no wonder you were late for work.
I wasn't late for work.
You would have been early. Wait, how does that? I forget. In any case,
it was definitely Sunday because otherwise I would have been late or early for church, one of those things. So we turned our clocks forward an hour in compliance with daylight savings time.
Yeah, so daylight savings time has been around since 1918 when President Woodrow Wilson codified it into law, and it had something to do with World War I. And more recently, I just found out, I didn't know this, that President Bush actually...
Which one?
The second.
W.
He did something with an energy conservation deal where he made daylight savings start a month sooner in order to help conserve energy by having it light longer in the evenings so that you don't have to turn your lights on as early. But there's some people out there that are saying that there are some negative side effects to daylight savings.
Yeah, like dangerous microsleeps followed DST.
DTS.
What? Like
Sorry,
Defense
acronyms.
Travel System?
Yes, exactly. I have micros slept after doing stuff on Defense Travel System, believe me.
I'm sure all of us have experienced that. I had to have finance do my travel voucher for me because, well, it's...
He had more than a
Yeah.
micro sleep. All right.
Anyway. And, what?
So there, increased risks of heart attacks and...
How would you like your kid at 10 years old to have a heart attack because of DST?
DTS. Get it right, man.
Daylight savings time.
What?
It's not daylight time savings, Yoda.
There is no DTS. You are so right, and I am definitely wrong on that. Daylight savings time, DST. My acronym's wrong on my sheet. That is great. That's why we have proofreaders edit things here. Anyway, so there was an article that came out, and it says, time to kill daylight savings. It's time to kill daylight savings before it kills you. And it talks about like the health risks and everything. It says here that there's a loss in productivity because of people being tired and groggy the following week, estimated around $434 million a year.
Sounds like that would be a great initiative for young airmen to submit to the IDEA program.
How about that? And workplace injuries. So things aren't quite as safe. People are tired driving on the road. In the workplace, there's an increase in safety issues.
And then testing scores. How many of you out there are testing for Tech Sergeant right now and Staff Sergeant in the spring? Test scores are negatively impacted by DST.
DST, yes, that's right. Not DTS. DTS is great. So,
Said no one ever.
hey. On a more serious note, though, it seems that American public support for putting boots on the ground, as they say, in the battle against the Islamic State group, that's the official Associated Press way of saying it. It's not ISIS, it's not ISIL. If you're going to do it, it's got to be Islamic State group.
ISIS makes me think of ice cream, so...
Yeah. Anyway, so the support's on the rise for... Now, you could say that it's technically more than half of Americans believe, but really it went from 48% that supported it in October to 52% that supported it in the most recent survey. So
4%.
Yeah, so a 4% difference. Tip the scales, though, so now more than half of Americans think that we should put boots on the ground. But that doesn't just mean sending over a whole bunch of folks like we had in Iraq for a
So
number
every
of years.
single airman on this base is leaving soon.
No, that's not true at all. But they are saying, of these percentage of people who are saying that we should support this, there are a number who believe that we should just send special forces. That's about 40% of that number there. So many Americans are wary of getting into another prolonged conflict over there. That seems to kind of be a valid concern because, we spent a lot of years over in Iraq, and then before that we spent some years over in Iraq. And, the Air Force likes to point out, though, that we've never left. We've been over there since, Gulf War I, and we've been providing support over there, specifically aerial refueling.
So like Korea.
Not quite like Korea. Not quite. But regardless of the number of boots or what branch of service they may come from, if whatever happens with this whole Islamic State fight, you can bet that the United States Air Force will be there providing airlift, close air support, and of course our favorite at Fairchild here, aerial refueling. All right, Sergeant Stratton, it's time for what you need to know in 60 seconds or less.
What?
Yep, all right. Oh, hold on, time me.
Timing. All right.
All right, you ready?
In 3, 2, go.
All right, so the Clothesline Project is a project to help stop sexual assault and to show your support. It was built to bring awareness of the issue of sexual assault and gives those who have been affected by sexual assault an avenue to express their thoughts and emotions. And they do this by decorating a T-shirt and then displaying it on base for people to see and just to bring awareness to this issue that is a huge issue. And so if you want to participate in this or have more questions, you can contact the local sexual assault prevention and response office at 247-4444. Also, we've got the 92nd Medical Group calendar of classes is out there. You ask your first sergeant for that, or you can check out the latest FlyerWire edition for that calendar of classes. Airman Family Readiness Center relocation. It has already begun. They've started moving out of their building. They're doing some HVAC, heating, air conditioning renovation in there, and they're going to have to clear out for about 90 days. So they went and...
And time.
Oh, that was 60 seconds? All right. Well, you need to know in the next 60 seconds, in addition to the 60 that you just did, so the Airman Family Readiness Center, they're moving out completely on the 23rd of March and looking to return on the 19th of June approximately, if things go well. All the programming and classes will be in the Education Center, but all their contact info, like their phone number and everything, is going to remain the same. So the Airman Family Readiness Center is moving over to the Physiology Building, which is across from the MPS and Security Forces on the corner of Strategic Air Command, or SAC Boulevard, and Arnold Street.
And then don't forget about Winter Sports Day on
Next week.
20th of March. Right, next week. You need to make sure you contact your unit sports representative or the fitness center at 247-2791 with questions. It'll be a great time. And then we got outdoor recreation. Get all your off-season trailers and boat rentals now through March 30th. Camp trailers, toy haulers.
Toy haulers, right.
Toy haulers.
For people like me, I have 5 kids. We have a ton of toys. We need a toy hauler. No,
Oh, okay.
I think it's more for like snowmobiles, which there's not any snow. So maybe your ATVs or...
Ski boats, fishing boats, pontoon boats, all at fairchildfun.com.
That's right. If you want to find out anything that's going on base with MWR, outdoor rec, any of that kind of thing, fairchildfun.com is your place to go. So what's happening in the local community? We got something kind of big happening this weekend, timely.
Spokane Home and Garden Show. at the Spokane Convention Center March 13th through 15th. How many of you are master gardeners out there?
Not this guy.
Not you. My dad is, as a matter of fact. They run an organic farm in Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
So, for those of you who did not have your fill of Let It Go,
Let it
or
go.
I Want to Build a Snowman,
Will you
Disney
help
on
me hide
Ice.
body?
Disney on Ice is coming with Frozen, but get this, they're already advertising it. It's going to be a big deal apparently because it doesn't happen until the first week of November, but the tickets are already on sale at ITT if you want to check out Frozen on Ice. Usually. So anyway, that's about all we have for this week's edition of
The Boom!
So thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the new hosts.
And even if you didn't, we're going to keep doing it, so
Yeah.
hang on.